What's happening, bonsai friends? It's been a while, but I'm back, and today I'm going to be doing some work on these two nursery stock Potentilla fruticosa. They're from a nursery. They're just garden material. I repotted them in the spring and they're growing well. They've started to develop some flower buds, so I'm going to trim away those flower buds in the hope that I encourage some stronger growth and faster development. In the meantime, I'm also going to be doing some updates on some of the trees that you've seen so far. I'll show you the growth that those guys have been putting on and ideas for future development. But if we're only just meeting, I'm Darren, and my videos bring you inspiration as I grow my trees through the seasons. So if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. Alright, let's get up close, shall we? Alright, so last year these guys grew like crazy in the really good summer that we had, and then they started flowering, and then they continued flowering, and they continued flowering, and they just kept on flowering all summer. And I noticed that as the flowers kept on coming, the growth was becoming quite spindly, a little bit leggy, and clearly the plant was putting more energy into the flower buds and the flowers than it was into growth. And because I want growth so that I can continue to develop these into tiny little bonsai, this summer I'm going to experiment with removing the flower buds before they open. Last summer I did try removing the flowers and the buds, but I don't know, maybe someone can write me up in the comments, I don't know, but it just felt like once they got started they just didn't want to stop flowering. So if I keep on top of it, let's just see how it goes, and I'll get back to you with an update in the future. So it's more of an experiment than anything else. All I'm going to do is cut these flower buds off as and when I find them. Alright then, the rain has stopped again, so here's my European Hornbeam, Garpinus baculus. I repotted it several weeks ago now, and as you can see it's leafed out nicely. It's growing reasonably well. It's not exactly bursting with vigour. We had some really hot sunny weather, and some of the leaves have caught the sun a little bit where I didn't move it to a shadier location in time. So it's now under the dappled shade of the large cherry tree. If it continues to give me good signs and good growth, I might come in later in the season and thin out some of the apex, let some light through to these lower branches. We'll see how it goes. But for now, this one's looking quite good, I think. We'll just have to see if this deters the plant from flowering or whether it just continues to produce new buds and new buds and new buds. If it just continues to produce more and more flower buds, I think I'll just let it flower. But we'll see how it goes for this summer, see if it encourages stronger foliar growth rather than investment in the flowers like last year. I did try just pinching the flower buds off, but it was quite unpredictable as to where the break would occur. A couple of stems were coming right away, and I wasn't happy with that unpredictable nature, so I'm snipping them away with the scissors. Just working around and around and around until I see some buds, removing them like so. So here's the Acer campestre field maple that I got from a nursery. It was the tall tree that I trunk chopped. This one got repotted also. I've gone for quite a shallow container. I'll have it in this container for a year or two to really develop that root spread. There was a really large root that I've removed. We'll come back and clean that up to remove some of the inverse taper at a later date. And we've also got some foil patches on some of the wounds from where I've removed some bits and bobs. I'm going to compare the healing as compared to simply dressing with a bit of petroleum jelly on the other side, see how the healing compares. I've heard that the sticky foil can promote really good healing, so we'll just see how that goes. A bit of an experiment really. But as you can see, this one's put out some growth despite having most of its roots removed, and it's also producing some buds. Again, later in the year I'll look to do something with this stump cut at the same time probably that I also take out the remnants of this thick root. So Potentilla, especially in the UK, are readily available from garden centres, and they make really nice smaller trees. Actually, they're deciduous. As you probably guessed, they flower profusely throughout the summer, so they add a splash of colour. But they have this beautiful flaky bark, and they really suit deadwood actually. The same kind of deadwood features that we would associate with Juniper also work quite well with the Potentilla. So as these trees develop, we might have a little bit of scope for playing with some deadwood features that normally I don't get to play with on the predominantly deciduous, broad-leafed trees that I work on. So that'll be quite fun in the future. Here's another European hornbeam, Carpinus betulus. This one was another one of the nursery stock trunk chops. As you can see, I repotted it. Bit of a schoolboy error. I was so focused on filming that I went past the point of inverse taper at the base. So I've set this tree back a couple of years. What I'll have to do is grow it, regain the strength, and I'll have to do an air layer or ground layer to bring the level of the nebari back up and above the inverse taper. So I'll set that on the back a little bit. That's the way it goes. And also the video didn't make it to YouTube because at the time I was using a microphone that was wired, connected to me, connected to the camera, and while I was working away I got up, walked away and dragged the camera across the stone patio. So as you can imagine, it wasn't my best repot, and suffice to say that the footage was binned. But we learn from our mistakes. I've got a new microphone. Next time I'll be extra cautious when I'm removing roots to check for inverse taper. And I'm confident that we can pull this one back in the future. But as you can see, we've got some nice buds that have started to extend. While we're waiting to rebuild the nebari, I'll hang some nice branches and a nice elegant apex on this tree. And even though I've set it back a couple of years, I'm still confident that we can make quite an interesting tree out of this nursery stock. So I'll keep you updated on this one. Better dash because I think the heavens are going to open. So I've had a bit of an absence from making the videos. A few weeks, several weeks, a couple of months. Life just got in the way a little bit. I had a busy few weeks with family and the kids and parties and jobs to do. Just got a little bit in the way. Spring happened Easter just gone. Happy Easter, by the way, belatedly. Easter just gone. We had a beautiful, beautiful weekend of weather in the UK. Felt like summer. I was prancing around in my shorts and my wife beater. So yeah, the garden's really taken off. I've finished all the repots. So now it's breathing a sigh of relief after all that chopsticking. And we're into growth management now in the garden. Okay, what have we got in here? Yeah, so there's another flower bud there. Let's take that one off. And some of these buds, it's unclear whether this is going to develop into, that's a flower bud. Some of them are a bit unclear as to whether they are going to develop flower buds or extend foliar growth, so I'll leave those and keep an eye on them in the future. Not sure about that one yet. And I'll come back in a week or two. I think my goal is to see how it goes with not letting a single flower bud open, and we'll see if the plant shifts gear and decides to focus on foliar extension instead. I don't know if it's going to work. If you happen to know the species and have any advice for me on maximising the growth in the very early development stages, just smash me a comment down below. I'd love to hear your experiences. All advice is always welcome. Okay, so I think this one's done actually. So as you can see, it's in this pond basket. It's its second season now in a pond basket. I repotted it in the spring, and the air pruning that you get with these containers just produce just the most beautiful, beautiful thick radial root pad. Amazing to see actually. I was repotting the tree and I thought, oh god, I wish I filmed this, because it just blew me away how effective the pond basket was. So yeah, this is its second year, and then after the second year I'll make a decision whether to pop this one into the ground and grow it on and develop a larger tree, or we'll think about potting it and having a smaller marmee as opposed to a shohin. Alright, well that one's just about complete. Let's move on to the second one. Okay, here's the second potentilla that I'm going to work on. So this one came out of its nursery container this spring, so this is its first year in a proper training container. I'll work on these lower areas first, and then we'll shift out and look at the apex in a second. Alright, well let's dig in then. So this is a different variety to the other one we looked at. The other one's an Abbott's wood, which has got white flowers. We don't actually know the variety of this one, but it's got, the flowers look like fried eggs, so they're like a creamy white colour, and the centres are a golden yellow. And the growth is a bit more compact on this one. It tends to be less leggy, a little bit more dense. It was in its nursery container a lot longer than the other one, which is why it's a bit more developed in terms of its trunk. It also needed more work to the roots. It had become quite pot bound, but it's clearly bounced back from the work. So I've got no issues about it surviving. They take root work really well, and they've got these beautiful fine fibrous roots. They don't like drying out. They like the moisture, They wilt really easily if they become too dry. You'll soon know if you've underwatered these. At least once a day during the growing season I'm having to water these guys. Twice a day on the warmer days. They really do like a good water. I think it's about to start raining, so really quickly, here's the big Chinese elm that was also repotted. As you can see, we've had loads of buds sprouting from the branch shoulders. I'll let these grow for a bit, harden off and regain some of that energy, and then I'll take those away in order to promote stronger growth in the branches and up towards the apex. At the same time, I'll also make some decisions about what we're going to do with these branches, and also clean up the stump that's here, here and here. What have we got down here? It's not clear yet whether these are going to be flower birds. I suspect they are, but I don't want to start hacking off foliar extensions, so we'll leave those and see what happens. Okay, let's move up the tree a little bit. Some more flowers up here. They're a bit further along. These ones are in danger of opening imminently. So we'll take those off quick sharp. Not sure about that one. Here we go, there's a bud there, flower bud. Okay, you can go. Just have a little double check around. I'm sure that when I come to editing this video I'll spot some more that I've missed. Gotcha. Oh, there's a little cheeky one in there. Alright, well that does it for now. I'll pop these back out in the garden. If you've got any tips or advice on growing Potentilla for me, just smash me a comment down below, or you can message me on Instagram @growbonsai. I'd really love to hear from you actually, because I'm really fond of this species and I'd like to get the best out of them, and any advice you can give me will be greatly received. So just to conclude the updates then, here's one of the future Mame Lenicera. As you can see, it's produced some cute little yellow flowers which have this lovely lemon scent to them. If I leave those on, they'll develop into those translucent purple berries. And here's the chojubai, which has been slip potted. Hopefully you can just about make out that beautiful red flower, and we've got another one just opening around here. One of my favourite species, the chojubai. Gorgeous. Alright, so smash that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching and take care.